Hello, my lovelies. It is time for my August Cards Against My TBR. So stay tuned. Okay, so I want to start out by saying that if I'm low energy in this video, I'm going to try not to be, but if I am, I'm feeling kind of under the weather, which is why I've got my hair pulled back and I've got no makeup on because I just couldn't. I'm not feeling 100%, but I did want to get these videos filmed. So, okay, so let's start off with a little bit about what this is. So Cards Against My TBR is one of my multiple TBR games that I play in order to help pick my TBR for the upcoming month. So I use 26 question cards and 26 answer cards from Cards Against Humanity. I mix them all up and then I draw 5 cards. And then if it's an answer card, I try to pick a book that fits that answer. Or if it's a question card, then I try to find a book that will answer the question or fill in the blank or whatever it is. I also typically will tell you the results for my Have I Read It, which is another one of my TBR games where you actually get to vote and help choose books that go on my TBR. So let's start with a little recap of where I am as far as my Have I Read It, and then I'll tell you what the winners were for these next rounds. So last month I told you that I was a little bit behind in my Have I Read It. Well, I told you that in my Wheel of TBR. So for Have I Read It number 49, I was to read Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and I still have not read this. So this will be rolling over. I also was supposed to read The Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo, and I did actually complete that last month. And then for Have I Read It number 50, I was to read Deadly Class by, well, it's a graphic novel, and I have not yet read this. For Have I Read It number 52, I was to read The Land of Stories book 2. This is book 3, but I had it as a placeholder because I don't know where book 2 is right offhand. And I did read The Land of Stories book 2, which was The Enchantress Returns, and I read that here in July. For Have I Read It number 53, I was to read The Looking Glass Wars by Frank Better, and I couldn't find that before I started filming. I know where the next 2 books in the series are, but I couldn't find that particular book. But I'm going to be rolling that one over as well. I also was supposed to read Furthermore by Tahara Mafi, and I also haven't read this one, so it's also rolling over. For Have I Read It number 54, I was to read The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Haro, and I have not read this. Are y'all seeing a theme? So June, I read 45 books. And at the time of filming my cards last month, I had gotten like 35 read. This month I've read like 5 books. Also, I was supposed to read The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake, and I have not read this one. Yeah. So now we get to add on some more Have I Read It. So for Have I Read It number 55, I had to pick the top 2 voted books. So in first place with 28 votes, I have to read The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. And in second place with 22 votes, I have to read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. And then for Have I Read It number 56, I was very lucky and only had to read the number 1 voted book. And this was very close because in second place with 13 votes, I had A Stitch in Time, which that one kind of surprised me because of it being so far up there. With just 1 more vote than that, with 14 votes, in first place is What to Say Next by Julie Buxbaum. So I need to read this as well. So we're already starting off with all this. Yeah. Okay, so last month when I filmed my Cards Against My TBR, I had some that were rolling over if I didn't finish them that month. So the first one was Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and as I already said, haven't read that one. Then there was A Deadly Class, which, as I already said, haven't read that one. And then there was The Language of Thorns, Land of Stories Book 2, and Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and I did read all 3 of those. 2 of them were in June, and 1 of them was in July. Okay, so how did I do with my actual cards for July? Not good. So for the card Reconciling Quantum Theory with General Relativity, I was to read Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and I have not read this one. I will be rolling this one over. For the card, this season at Steppenwolf, Samuel Beckett's classic existential play, Waiting for Blank, I selected Pollyanna by Eleanor H. Porter, and I have not read this one. And this one will also be rolling over. For the answer card, Keanu Reeves, I selected A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. Haven't read it, but I'm not going to roll this one over. I'm actually just going to stick this card back in the deck. And then for the card, Tonight on 2020, What You Don't Know About Blank Could Kill You, I selected Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson because this is also the book that my coffee patron, book buddy of the month, selected for me to read in July, and I've yet to read this. So this one is also getting rolled over. And then for the final answer card, A 6-Hour Conversation on Gender and Queer Theory, I had selected Stay Gold by Tobley McSmith, and I haven't read this. I'm not going to roll this one over, though. I'm just going to add this card back to the deck. Okay. Also, in August, I'm going to be going on vacation. So, yeah, I've got to try to get as much squeezed in before that as possible. Oh, my book buddy for the month selected Sweet Black Waves by Christina Perez. That's going to be the buddy read from all of my coffee patrons. And then she also gets to pick a book for me to read. And she selected One Iridescent Night, a Cinderella Retelling by Brianne Wick. And that I have on my Kindle. So I'll be reading that probably on my trip. Okay, so I've got my cards here. Let's shuffle these up. Snicker. He's trying to eat the house. Okay, let's shuffle these up, and then we'll see what we get. All right, let's see. Where can I set these? Let me move my little gnomey friend there. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we got 3 question cards and 2 answer cards. So let's put them like so. Let's see what the first one is. With a one-time gift of just $10, you can save this child from blank. The bone houses. That's what I'm going to select for that one. All right, now on to the next one. Oh, we got Keanu Reeves again. I don't know if any of the books that I have here would actually fit for that prompt. Let me think about that one. Okay. All of my authors that I have here are freaking American. Well, except for one that was like Norwegian. So, okay, so I think what I'm going to do for this one is pick the book that I had originally for it, which was A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth, just to make it a little easier on myself. Okay, next question card. This one says, in his farewell address, George Washington famously warned Americans about the dangers of blank. The dangers of blank. What could I use any of my books for this? You know what? I can use my Coffee Buddy Reads book. The Dangers of Sweet Black Waves. There we go. All right, next answer card we have. I'm not surprised this one came up because it's the other one that I put back in the deck. Okay, A 6-Hour Conversation on Gender and Queer Theory. I think I'm just going to go with the original thing I had with Stay Gold by Tobley McSmith. Okay, last question card here. What are my parents hiding from me? Well, there's a few of the books that I have here that I could use for that. So, like The Land of Stories book 3, I do need to read this one, so that would work. They could also be hiding the last true poets of the sea. They could also be hiding the 10,000 Doors of January. I feel like I should pick one of these. Let's go with the 10,000 Doors of January, because it's one that I need to read anyway, so that helps me out. Okay, so those are all 5 of my cards against my TBR. So I have the 3, well, the 2 that I put back. So Dark and Hollow Star and Stay Gold, plus Sweet Black Waves, as well as the Bone Houses and the 10,000 Doors of January. This one worked out really well in my favor, thankfully. And I will be putting my buzzword and my TBR knockout, as well as my magical readathon TBR, all on my next video, which is my wheel of TBR. So I'm gonna go and film that now, and wish me luck. I'm worried because there was a lot that I didn't read because I've been in a little bit of a slump this month, probably because of reading 45 books the month before. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye.